Again, we're glad to be here today. It's another beautiful day, and I think it's everyone's goal to be what this song states, I want to be a Christian. Because if we have that in our hearts, it will show to those people that we come in contact with. I know Melody and I, a lot of times when we go to the store or go out, we'll pray that the Lord will put somebody in our stead or someone in our footsteps to witness to in some fashion. And every time we do that, it pretty much happens, whether it's in the grocery store or somebody along the way. So that's our goal, I think, in life, is to be a Christian to others. I want to be a Christian.
I just love it when he plays that thing. I've got some information sheets here I have neglected to talk about at all. But it's about the program that we offer at the Black Hills Lifestyle and Education Center. It's for massage therapy. It's the only course I know where you can get a certification and make at least $100,000 a year. And it's an amazing program. And it's accredited. When you're finished with this school, you can actually go out and get your certification, and you can be a massage therapy in all but 2 states in the United States, because there are 2 states that actually want 1,000 hours, and we offer 650. Most states require 500. So if you want to know any information about it, please pick it up here. Also, we've got a session starting July. We've got one starting August, September, October. When it gets towards those cold months, South Dakota is probably not the best place to come to. but it's beautiful outside that. And we're trying to offer programs for alumni. We're trying to offer programs for new starts, wellness programs. We're not wanting to do just a 21-day program. You go out the door and that's it. We want to continue with you once you're home, work with you. It might be for some people, I can only afford to come a week, and they come a week, and 2 or 3 months later, they might come for another week. So we're trying to build our programs around you, because not all of our lives are the same. So if you want any information on that, please let me know. I kind of switched the menu up today, only because I couldn't find all my ingredients for the other one. So my husband went to town, but it was a little too late for me to start them. So I am going to do something that I really like. I like I like all food, multiple foods, and I love Italian. One of my favorite things to eat is pesto. How many of you like pesto? Yeah. How many of you priced the pine nuts lately? Have you priced them? I can't either. They were like $30-some for a little bag in Costco and Sam's. I'm thinking that's ridiculous. A lot of your pesto comes with a lot of oil, and I wanted to make something a little different, and I wanted y'all to try that. So I am going to make some avocado pesto. Avocado is an essential fat, and I use a little bit of the almond flour with it. What I'm going to make for you first is my version of a simple, like Parmesan or Parmesan. So I thought, everybody's been yelling at me, Melody, we need the recipe. Oh, for some of you, you might not have, honey, do we have a lot of these? I sell these for $5. There's some that, is this it? Is that all we brought? Oh, this is it? We got on the whole table? I think we have 2 more of the big books. I hid them there in the car. But what I love about this, well, we keep them in our vehicle. We use books for witnessing. But this is a book, I love it. It's a gluten-free, soy-free, corn-free, sugar-free, and all-vegan cookbook. It has for the paleo diet, for the blood type diet, for the gluten-free diet, for the Atkins diet, the sugar-free diet, the nightshade diet, no-carb diet, the vegan diet, the zone diet, the South Beach diet, the raw food diet, and the macrobiotic diet. This book contains no animal products, no hybrid foods, no chemically processed foods, no genetically altered food, no cholesterol foods, no cloned foods, and no redesigned foods of any type, because it's nothing but white pages. And it's for you to write your recipes in, for you to make your food notes in. I think we sell them for like $5, yeah, just so people can have them. It costs more than that to make those. But it's kind of a fun book, and I've had people call me wanting to know if I would ship them one of these books because they bought one and they needed another one. Anyway, they're up here. Somebody needs one to make notes on. But, so I actually brought a measuring spoon, which I never use. Chefs do not measure. You know how I made my first cookbook? I would dump it in, and then I would take it back out and put it in a measuring cup to see how much it was. And 9 out of 10 times, my brain, my eyes see what most of you see and hear. I see here. So in a bowl, I can pretty much tell, and I've done it many times. My husband is saying, he'll say, do you have a recipe for that? And I'll say, yeah. And he'll say, well, did you measure it? And I said, well, I've seen it. He said, well, how much is in there? And I'm like, 1.5 cups. And he said, no way. So he has taken it out and measured it, and he has come up with what, honey? 1.5 cups. 1.5 cups. It's amazing. It's a gift. I give all the glory to God. So what I'm doing right now, and honey, did we bring that essential oil with us today? No? Is I put in 1.5 cup of the blanched almond flour. That's it, 1.5 cup. To that, I am going to add 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast flakes. You don't need a lot. All right? And then to that, I am going to put in a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to mix it. That is labor intensive, y'all. But I'll be honest with you, it tastes wonderful. It adds that pizzazz that you miss if you don't have the Parmesan style cheese. And I use it when I make bruschetta or bruschetta, however you want to call it. I use it in a lot of my Italian dishes. And I like to take lemon juice and fresh garlic and maybe a little dill or fresh basil on my salad and just scatter some of this over the top of it for a good flavor. Now, did you guys get this recipe? Huh? One more time? Are y'all did? No. I used 1.5 cup of almond flour, and I used Blanche, so it's white. You know, you don't have to worry about all the skin on it. I used 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast flakes, and I used a teaspoon of salt. That's all. Now, you can put this in a baggie. You can make it up double. You can triple it, however you want to. And you can put it in the freezer and use it as you need it. I would never wait till I wanted to use it to just make it. Why not have it on hand where I can just reach in with a spoon or a measuring cup, if that's what you want, to use it. So I keep it on hand quite a bit. If I was on a diet where I could not use nuts, I would use, I think you can use sesame seeds on your program. And I know you can use sunflower seeds and pepitos, which are pumpkin seeds. And those, I think you soak them, and after a while you can dry them, and you go through that. And then you can make them into like a flour. So you could make this same thing, although you would not use the nutritional yeast flakes. But if you use some of the dried sesame seeds, and you made like a flour out of that, with the salt, you're going to get the same flavor. So that's something you could use if you can't have nutritional yeast flakes or you cannot have nuts. So you can make different varieties of that. I am known as a specialty chef. I cook for a lot of people that have allergies, or basically they cannot eat a specific food, or they don't like a specific food. So I've been known to make a lot of different recipes for people. And it's something, in the last couple of years, I've had people call me on the phone and say, Melody, I love my old food, but I can't eat it anymore. And I'm missing this, and I'm missing that. Can you help me? And I say, yes, I can. Fortunately for them, I can create the recipe. Unfortunately, I have to charge sometimes, because I could spend a lot of money in my kitchen buying products to trying to make their recipe, because first I have to cook their recipe, I have to taste it, and then I have to modify it. So it's very time consuming, but for some people it's worth it to have the foods they're used to eating when they can't have the foods they used to eat before. So I'm going to set this aside for right now. And I brought with me somewhere in the pack, yes, some good old tomatoes that I already chopped up. And I am fighting flies up here today. You know, I hate flies. They are my enemy. And I want to make you a vegan, no oil bruschetta. And I think I have close to 10 Roma tomatoes here. You would not make that many, but that's what I've used for amount. Hey, did y'all notice yesterday that there was a certain amount of people that came to the seminar, and yet there was probably 25 to 30% more that ate? What's with that? Is the word getting around? Huh? You go right ahead and ask. Well, in the Adventist world, if you've read Counsels on Diet and Food or some of Ellen White's writings, she has stated that vinegar is not good for the stomach. And it was because of the way they made it. I use vinegar in cleaning, in my laundry, in my food. I clean my bathroom with vinegar. I take 4 drops of lemon essential oil, a squirt of Dawn, and vinegar in a spray bottle, kind of mix it up. And all that hard water stain, on my shower, I don't have to buy chemicals. I can use it, and it keeps it pristine. So I use vinegar a lot, but not for consumption. However, I feel like that apple cider vinegar has great benefits for us. I've talked to a few pastors that have their doctorate in health. One of them from South Bend who worked a lot there in Andrews University, what his thought was on that. And he explained it to me in detail to where some of it has changed over the years. But he felt like apple cider vinegar was not a problem to the body. I use it rarely because I am gluten-free, and like that pancake mix, I would have loved to have made y'all those pancakes. I use just a tablespoon of it in the whole container that I cook. It makes gluten-free rice. It's hard to get even plant-based gluten products to rise without eggs, but when you put apple cider vinegar in it, I can get that much height where I couldn't get but this much height prior. So it does something with the, like baking powder, I use aluminum free, and it does something to activate it and it actually rises, and it's much lighter in cakes or pastries. And I do make those things because I cook for a lot of people, and I cook what they want. So I have to know how to cook those as well. So I don't know if that helps you at all, why vinegar, but there's something about vinegar in the body, especially the way it was made. White vinegar. White vinegar. I do. I love white vinegar. I buy it by the gallons. I use it in my laundry. I can wash my shirts over and over and over and over again. Of course, black I wash in cold water, but I always put about a half cup to a cup of vinegar in my clothes. And I don't have to use the dryer sheets either. And those dryer sheets create havoc on your dryers. Some dryers catch on fire. I quit using them periodically. I still have some, so it's something I really don't want the static in. If I haven't used the vinegar in there, but when I use the vinegar, it makes the clothes softer and they're not staticky at all. But it helps keep your colors, your dark colors especially, bright. So there are a lot of benefits to vinegar. If you go to a doctor's office and you're on the table, when you leave, they spray it down with vinegar solution. They do not use bleach. They use vinegar because it is 99.99% disinfecting. Yes, ma'am. No, I've tried it. It doesn't have the same effect because I use lemon juice. I bet you I buy on average one of the large bags of lemons a week in our home. And my husband can tell you that that's true too because he's the squeezer. He gets to squeeze them. That's his job. Squeeze the lemons. He squeezed them for me today. But I love fresh lemon juice. And lemon is an acidic fruit, correct? But what happens when you use lemon juice when you take it into the body? It becomes alkaline. And we want our bodies to be alkaline. Number one, cancer cannot grow in an alkaline body. Cancer only grows in an acidic body. A lot of the foods you eat, stress, lack of sleep, things like that, some illnesses, diseases, can cause the body to switch from alkaline to acidic or acidic back to alkaline, depending on your diet. They do sell these little test strips like you can get at Walgreens or CVS to test to see if your body is more acidic or alkaline. And like swimming pools, you have to have a certain pH balance, and like hot tubs, you have to have a certain pH balance. Well, our bodies have to have a certain pH balance too. Yes? You can't have citrus fruit? So you're saying you cannot have citrus fruit, you have a lot of aches and pains. Have you been tested for allergens? For an allergy? Do you have any other known problems at all medically?
Well, yes, but I know I can't have citrus, and I'm allergic to garlic.
Got to use that.
Does it? Well, see, you sound to me, by what you're telling me, that you are a candidate for that program that this lady right here's on. Because when your body, you can bring it over here, honey. When your body starts to do this, your body's already in a stress mode. There's something going on. And a lot of us are having that same product right here, lady in the pink shirt. He's bringing a microphone, so if you have something to say, it's just nobody else can hear. And so your body's already telling you, hey, I'm having allergies. Your body should not have these allergies. There's something going on in your body. Just like me, I was 55 years old when I found out I was allergic to peanuts. I ate them all my life. I was 55 when I found out I was allergic to gluten. Had eaten a lot of gluten most of my life. So what happened to my body? It caused an autoimmune disease, which usually if you have one, you have two. And then I have Hashimoto, which is an immune thyroid disease, so I have two. When I start this program that Dr. Cha and Mercy Ballard have, and it's an elimination of many things, but still a lot of good food, right? Do you feel deprived? Okay, she's on that diet.
What program is that?
That is, it's the Med Missionary Diet, and we are offering that at Black Hills Lifestyle and Education Center because their main person who helps teach that, and she actually contacts people, works with them, and she counsels them. She is one of our new people at Black Hills Lifestyle Center. And I'm going to do it myself. I can reverse these autoimmune diseases. It can be done. And it sounds to me like you're having problems off of different foods too. Have you always had those?
Well, I can't remember.
But you
I'm
started
pretty old,
noticing
you
it
know.
later in life? Yeah.
I mean, I've been allergic, I know, to citrus fruit for quite a while.
Uh-huh.
And I was allergic to garlic, and I didn't know it for quite a while either. And I
Oh,
went
yeah.
to doctors, dermatologists to find out. They wanted to put me through all kinds of tests, but I figured
Yep.
it out on my own.
They
that I
want to
was
put you.
allergic to it.
They want to put you on all kind of tests, and then they're going to put you on medication, and you're still going to have the problem.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got to find what's going on with the problem to eliminate it,
Yeah.
so
This
the body
med-
can heal.
This Med Missionary diet, you can get online for a Med Missionary
You can.
website.
You can. You
Yeah.
can. If you want to be in an environment where you're helping to cook the food and they are teaching you and training you there, whether it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is for you, then we offer that so you don't have to do it all by yourself. Now, this young lady here was brave enough to do it on her own. I never did ask you, what was your did you have a specific problem or a diagnosis?
Well, they diagnosed me first. I was sent to all kinds of specialists because I had
body aches all over me.
Okay.
I also didn't know it was connected, but I had had thrush in my mouth. And I had so many symptoms that are connected now that I know to autoimmune disease. But first I went to like a specialist and a skin specialist. Then I went to a rheumatologist. They sent me
Okay.
to a nerve specialist. They sent me all around, and nobody could help me. Nobody could find anything wrong with me. And I felt like I was going to have to live like that the rest of my life, because I thought I was going to have to quit my job and, you know, whatever. It was just horrible. Because I've
Wow.
had a serious, and it would, like when I was still working at my job, it would affect me, and I could practically crawl into work, and I thought I was going to have to quit. Well, then it would kind of go underground again, and then it would flare up again in different ways, like I said, with thrush, with, you know, all different kinds of things.
Okay.
So,
Never had a diagnosis, but just something was wrong and they could not find it.
they just said they didn't know what was wrong. There was no diagnosis. They just didn't know what was wrong.
And I have found that for most people,
Yeah.
that they say the same thing, that it's like, I've gone to the doctor, they can't find anything, my back hurts, my arms hurt, my legs hurt.
Right.
I know I had fibromyalgia really bad, and I still struggle with my shoulders. And I know that I feel like that whenever I do this particular program, that's all going to go away. I have no doubt in my mind that it's not
I
going to
even
go away.
I made a trip to Johns Hopkins Hospital, got all kinds of blood tests and all. They could not find one thing wrong with me. All my tests came back perfect.
Well, that's a good thing
Yeah, it
in
was.
many ways.
It was.
But are you hearing what she's saying? She's the one who did this program on her own, only because she's seen Mercy Ballard and Dr. Cha on 3ABN, got the book and tried it for herself. I'm so sorry, I forgot my chopping knife. So I'm using a small knife, which is hard to do. And she did the program on her own for 2 years now, and she's eliminated that pain and the problems that she had. I even told Natalie last night, she's with Dr. Cho now in Oregon, and told him your story, what I knew of it. And I said, what a witness right there, that if we adhere to these health laws of God, how he can, even in this day and age, reverse these diseases without medication. And I have been through Desire of Ages, I have been through Ministry of Healing, I have been through counsels on diet and food. I have not found one area, biblically or otherwise, in Spirit of Prophecy that says that Jesus used anything outside of nature when he healed. And I often wonder, when he said, go ye therefore and sin no more, what did that mean? Don't go do the same thing you did before. C.A. Murray was, oh, by the way, this is fresh basil. Can't you smell it? Yes, I love fresh basil. Oh, I knew you were going to ask that. There's a good cup, if not a cup and a half right here. And if you smashed it down, there is a good cup. But remember, I've got like 10 aromas here. So I always tell people, use what you want. It's your food. You get to put in it whatever you want. And I'm going to put in a quarter cup of minced garlic. Can you believe it? But we have everything we need right now. And when we pray, guess what? God gives us the discernment we need to make those changes and lead us to where we need to go to make them. I can't wait to start this program. I have to tell you, when I had COVID and didn't know it, and it was in my intestines, and I was having so many problems, I was on the road and tried to do that program for 3 weeks. And I knew I could not continue. I couldn't do it. I was away from home, didn't have the supplies I needed, couldn't find them. I was in Arkansas. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I finally said, no, you're going to have to do this program when you get to a place you can. But in that 3 weeks, I don't remember one ache or pain I had, and I slept very well. Very well. I am going to put in some lemon, fresh. When I tell people, or my recipes call for lemon juice, it calls for fresh lemon juice. I never use any bottled lemon juice. I always use fresh. All right. I actually put 2 in here for 10 tomatoes. I put 2. That was a 1/4 cup that I used, so I put a 1/2 cup. I like a lot of lemon and a lot of garlic, and I'm probably going to put more garlic in this too. Is that my pepper guy? And I don't want, that's wet, so I'm going to put some of this. And I can tell you that I have put probably right at a 1/3 cup. Trust me on that. You can make this for large groups. And I'm going to do a teaspoon of salt. We can add more if we need to. We just can't take the salt out. Once we've added the salt, it's not like we have a second chance. I added more garlic because I could tell by looking at it, it needed more. Huh? Now, I have a feeling there's something else I need to put in it. I'm not going to say yet. Where's my guinea pig husband? Oh, there you are. Come here, husband. He is? He's my official taste tester. He is the OTT of our house. Aren't you, honey?
It's a very good thing.
Now I need you to tell me what it's missing. There's not.
It's good.
It's perfect.
It's
it doesn't
there.
need a little more salt?
No.
Okay. No more basil?
No.
I'm going to put this spoon up because I don't want somebody to get it. All right, so now you have your bruschetta, or bruschetta. Now, that's dirty. And I am going to put a fly trap on it. I just don't want the flies in it. I hate these flies. All right, I want to make your pesto. So I've got some, do you know how much trouble my husband had to go through to find avocados that were ripe here? No, he bought organic for you guys. Well, I have people ask me, isn't it expensive to eat like this? But I have not spent one dime at the doctor's office. And outside of when I broke my leg, I'm ashamed to admit this, I haven't been to the doctor in 12 years. I have not been to the doctor. Ask my husband. He's all the time, don't you need to go get a checkup? I said, for what? What do I need a checkup for? What if something's wrong? And I said, then something will happen. I'll find out. I probably do need to do a physical. The last blood test I had was about 5 years ago, and my cholesterol was 128. And it was over 200 before I went plant-based. 128. I love avocados. Oh, one of my favorite fats. I'm going to make a lot of this, so bear with me. We've got time. Well, so far I've did one. I'm working on my second. I'm probably going to put 4 in here. because I want y'all, I think I've got 8, and if I have to make 2 batches to make sure everybody gets a good taste of it, that's what I want. Now, I don't know, have any of you had an avocado pesto before? No. Okay. Now, the first batch, I'm going to make without the Parmesan for you. So you can, are you sure? You can eat, you positive, all right? You can do it. There are ways you can make this at home without having the nuts or the nutritional yeast flakes. And the only reason why she's not eating them, it's not because she can't have them, it's because during her program she couldn't, and when she started feeling as good as she did, and eliminated this problem she tried for several doctors to fix and find, it went away, so she doesn't want to go back to it. Because you are able to go back to eating regular food again if you want to, but that doesn't mean the problem won't come back either. Slowly adding it back in. Right, it's like an elimination process, so add one thing in at a time, and then if everything's okay, then add another, add another. And I guess I kind of feel the same way you do. If I feel this good and I'm on the program and everything's great, why would I add it back in if I'm satisfied with my food? And I mean, come on, guys, if you can have avocado. Mango's my favorite fruit, so that's probably one thing I would miss, is a mango. Yes? You know what I say about that? If there's anything better than a mango, God kept it in heaven. I love mangoes. All right. This is fresh organic spinach. So I want it nice and green. Might have to add some more, but that's okay. And what do we put a lot of in pesto? Garlic. We're going to start out with that. And then we also put fresh basil. As you see, I wash my basil very well, and then I pack it on a paper towel and roll it. And it keeps a lot longer this way. Now this is where I'm going to add, I've already made this, so why not use it? It has the almond flour in here. I'm using the almonds instead of the pine nuts. Almond flour at Sam's, and I'd say that's a half a cup. At Costco, run about $11 to $13 for a nice large bag. And I use it when I make anything cream-based, that's what I use. Yes, lemon juice. I love my lemon juice. Did y'all know that? Actually, I didn't know this one had a hole in it, but you can use most of the time these for measuring. But this one has a hole in it. I'm like every chef. I have probably 3 times everything because I use it so much. Oops, it's water. Actually, I want more water. Now, if I was using oil, I would not have to do this, right? But we're not using oil. that is going to be one dead fly, or two. Sorry. Now, I got courageous today because I wanted to make a different kind of a hummus. How many of y'all like hummus? I do too. And I quit buying hummus because there's so much fat in it. They just drizzle so much oil. They'll use canola oil, they'll use coconut oil, they'll use what they say is olive oil. We don't know if it's been heated or not. And so I thought, I just can't eat it like I used to. And so I really started making my own hummus. It is so good. Oh, that is so good. I'm sorry, that just excites me. I love good food. And you know what? It's healthy too. All right. That's why I put a lot of spoons over here. Needs a little more salt. And I can start on batch number 2. So I made us a hummus today. And the reason why I didn't bring it here to present it to you is because I had to use this and I had no way of cleaning it. It would take too long for my husband to run down and clean it and come back, so I made it. But I wrote the recipe down, and that's very rare for me. But because I'm making it for y'all, I mean, I made a whole container full. Look how full that container is, all the way full. All right? And it's a bright yellowish orange color because I roasted the red peppers and the orange peppers from the little bag of peppers that you get. And I had a kettle or a skillet in the kitchen, and I just turn on the heat, put them in there, and they start popping and cracking, and it starts blackening up. But it makes your peppers taste so much better in your hummus by just roasting those peppers. So that's what I did. I roasted the peppers. All right. Now, if I want chunks in here, if I want to put some of the nuts like almonds, or I want this thicker, I would add some tomatoes to it, and I would add some of those nuts and do it that way. But I like it just like this. All right, I am going to get the rest of these avocados. Oh, you didn't get 8. You got 9, didn't you, honey? Oh. Somebody's got to taste this for me. It's good, isn't it? They passed around something yesterday. What do you think? Yeah, I have a friend like that. Now, you've had regular pesto. How does that compare? There's going to be a different in texture.
It's much creamier.
Mm-hmm.
It obviously isn't oily.
Mm-hmm.
But the flavor is very similar.
Okay. Now, if I were to put,
I'm loud.
if I were to put Parmesan in there itself, it would kick that flavor up. Or
I can taste your,
you can taste the Parmesan?
the fake Parmesan, yeah.
Was it good? Could you tell it in there? Okay. Fake Parmesan. Well, it is. I don't know about, do you guys ever buy some of the vegan style cheeses that are on the market? Have you bought any of those? Do you like them? Which do you like the best? Oh, you like chow? Oh, I cannot take Daya. I know it melts, but it is the worst. I like Violife. Follow Your Heart is really good products. However, I mean, they've all got a lot of oil and fats that we shouldn't have in them. But for people who are eating plant-based but not whole plant-based, they've really stepped it up. Daya was the first one on the market that I found. And I'm not even going to tell you what it tastes like when you open it up. It just has this foul smell from the get-go. And a lot of people like it, you know. A lot of chefs use it. I know, have you heard of the pizza place called Mellow Mushroom? Okay. Well, Mellow Mushroom started out using Daya, and now they use Follow Your Heart. Yes, yes. So that's a treat for us when we're on the road, because my husband loves pizza. I'll have to tell you a funny story. We were down in South Carolina or Georgia, and we were looking for a place to eat. We were traveling, and we ran across the Mellow Mushroom. Well, my husband did not know that he could eat vegan pizza, because we hadn't been married that long, and my husband wasn't complaining at all then. And so we couldn't find what we wanted to eat. And he says, what are we going to eat? And I, out of the corner of my eye, I caught that Mellow Mushroom. I said, pull over there. I'm going to take you here and surprise you with something. He said, with what? And I said, just trust me. Just trust me. So I ordered 3 items, which you know at Mellow Mushroom could cost like $80. And I got tickled because when we sat down and he figured out it was pizza, he looked at me and he said, I thought we weren't allowed to eat this stuff. And I said, we're not. He said, but we're vegans. I said, I know. He said, is this just like those one-time things? And I said, possibly. And he's like, it's okay. I mean, he was really, you know, but they have even a gluten-free vegan pizza there, and you don't even have to put the cheese on, and the vegan cheese. And I said, just trust me, go to the bathroom. I said, I'm going to make sure you get something good. So he come over, and I had him a thing of hummus. I had him a salad. They have a really good salad there that's like a Greek salad, but you can take all the dairy off of it. And they even have a vegan dressing, a house dressing that is amazing. And it's full of oil, trust me. And he came back, he went to the restroom, and he came back, and he was, are you sure? I said, I've got this. So, long story short, my husband had his first pizza after we were married, vegan, that he thought wasn't vegan. And he said, you feel guilty eating yours? And I said, no, and you shouldn't either. This is vegan. He said, what? No way. And I said, yeah, way, it's vegan. I said, it's got oil in it, but I said, it's vegan. I said, you know, I just wanted you to have something, a treat. And now every time we pass a Mellow Mushroom, it looks like I have a 2-month-old puppy dog sitting in my front seat, because my husband goes, I'm like, no. That's not happening every time we go out. That's just for special times. And he says, well, is it today special? I'm like, every day is special, but no. So that's see, I tell on ourselves too, because whether you know it or not, we're human. And we all have our problems. And sometimes we eat oil, very limited sugar, but sometimes we do eat things with oil in them. We try not to, but I can't control when we're traveling. And sometimes we don't even know we're going to be traveling until the last minute. That was my basil in there. I'm just making another one, so y'all have plenty. I don't want somebody coming to me and say, I think my husband ate off of that one. Huh? No. I did. I put spinach and basil. I did. And I've got some more of this I already made, so I'm going to leave it out where you guys can try it. You don't have to put the nutritional yeast flakes in there. Smart Melody. I dumped the nutritional yeast in there, and I didn't mean to, but it's not going to hurt. This is some I had already previously made. And I'm going to get a little start on this before I add the garlic, because I don't want my brother over here to feel bad because I did not put his garlic in there. You're welcome.
Hey, Mel.
Hey, yes.
While you're doing that, tell them the story about how you trained yourself, your dog, and your cat.
He wants me to tell you my story about the dog and the cat. When I first started to go on a whole plant-based diet, the doctor I was working with, Dr. Philip Collins down in North Carolina, he said, you've got to eliminate all sugar, all oil, and all salt. All salt. And I don't know if you went on a SOS-free diet. It's the worst stuff I ever tasted in my entire life. No flavor. Nothing had any flavor. I tried to feed my dog some of my food, and that coward wouldn't touch it. And he was a big old golden retriever. But it made me angry. Now, you're talking about a woman that weighed almost 300 pounds. And he told me, he said, I want you to get exercise. And I'm thinking, oh, just shoot me now. Shoot me. I thought, okay. And I got to looking at my animals. My dog was overweight. My cat was overweight. My cat was so fat and so lazy, he would lay down and eat his food. My dog had both of his knees replaced. And when I looked at them, I thought, if I've got to lose weight, you're going to lose weight. So I took that 100 and some pound golden retriever and I thought, if I have to walk around that block, I'm not talking a mile, I'm talking a block. You're going to go with me. Because I thought, if anything, maybe he could pull me a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So I took off walking one day with my dog, nothing fast, nothing spectacular, and I started walking. And I come back, and I sat down on that couch. The dog was, the dog was about to die too, like, forget this. And I sat there and thought, Lord, I might as well just die right now because the exercise will kill me anyway. So just check me out. Poor dog. Cat and the dog did lose weight. Cat died of diabetes. Pets don't die of diabetes except for the food that you feed them. They are the only animal in the whole animal kingdom that have a diet problem, and they're fed. Have you noticed that? A hippopotamus is supposed to be fat. Elephant's supposed to be fat. Dogs and cats are not supposed to be fat. And they're on a controlled diet that you are controlling for your pets. And it hit me. I want you to know 2 months later, I was off of a heart medication I had took for 22 years. And my husband, it's hard for him to believe because it was several years prior to when I met him. I got to the point, I actually walked a half a marathon with my daughter-in-law. I thought that'd take me out too. We lived through this stuff. God designed these bodies to put up with a lot. And I walked that half a marathon. I started walking up hills, down hills, because trust me, I could walk down a hill or flat, but I thought, I'm not going up that hill. This body was not designed to go up any hill. It is not going to happen. And the Lord said, yeah, it is. So I didn't forget. So I went up the hill. I got to the place to where I was walking 5 miles every morning and 5 miles every evening, to the tune of 10 miles a day. Most weeks I walked an average of 60 to 70 miles. I was in my early 60s. Can you believe it? Because I quit my my job that I was making $100,000 plus a year, and I told the Lord that if He would heal my body and show me what He wanted me to do, I would go out and do ministry. And I have never, ever called or connected with a church or organization and asked them for money. I did everything by honorarium. I said, God will tell you what He wants you to pay me. And I was a single woman during this time. And God, the stories I can tell you are amazing. Because people said, what are you going to do if you get sick and you need insurance? I said, I'll get it. The Lord will take care of me. I was in and out of the doctor's office all the time when I had the best medical insurance you can get. I was an executive for Verizon Wireless. And when I quit my job, went whole plant-based, I went back to school to learn how to do PowerPoints and stuff I didn't know how to do. Because I thought, if I'm going to go into churches, I've got to find all this information. I was like a sponge. I was absorbing everything I could possibly absorb on a whole plant-based diet and diseases and lifestyle, all of it. Not Seventh-day Adventists taught. I wanted to see what the world was teaching because, folks, you might not know this, but the world has our health message because we failed. But they don't have the whole message. God has saved that for us. He wants us to get up and start living and helping people with their health. And what better time than now? I mean, you can look at somebody and say, did you have COVID? Or they'll talk about COVID. COVID is in every conversation. You could say, hey, I know something that will help you in case this comes back again. Because our bodies have enough immunity the way God created us that we can fend off a lot of these diseases, folks, if we're living right. So I went back to school. And I never got up in front of people before. I could talk one-on-one or in groups, but not in front of people. And the first seminar I ever did, I thought I was going to pass out. I hugged a toilet that was probably nastier than you can ever think. And I prayed right then for the Lord to take it away from me. I said, Lord, I think you've chosen the wrong person. And He never answered me. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to get up in front of these people. And I had a dress on. I just said, Lord, if I fall, please don't show anything. Just whatever. And I got up. And God kept getting me up. And He kept getting me up. And I was getting up in front of people when I weighed over 275 pounds. And I thought, who's going to believe an old, fat, sick woman? And I'm still getting up. And I'm praising God every day because I haven't been to the doctor since. And when I married my husband, I had just changed my tires on my SUV that I had for over 200 and some odd thousand miles. And every time I would take it to the Mose was the guy who looked after my tires and always serviced my vehicle. And I went to him and said, Mose, I'm leaving. I need you to check my car. He would always come back and say, Melody, you got about 33,000 miles on your tires. And I said, Mose, you told me that 6 months ago. I'll sell you new tires, but that's what you got on there. I kept traveling. Next year, same thing. I took it in. I said, Mose, how are those tires? They've been on there for years. He said, oh, they're still good. You got about 33,000 miles on those tires. And I'm like, that's impossible. I'll sell you tires. I can't tell you the conversations he and I had the same. It was like Groundhog Day. We just kept asking the same thing over and over again. So my son wanted me to come up to Ohio. I was living in Texas at the time. And he said, Mom, can you come up here and help me? I said, yes. He said, do you still have that Toyota? And I said, well, yeah, because we hadn't talked about vehicles. And I said, I sure do. And he said, what tires are you running on there right now? I said, the ones that you ordered for me, that I told you to find me tires, I'd pay for them and I'd have them put on. He said, that's impossible. I said, no, you can call Mose and ask him. I said, for some reason, he says they're fine. He said, you get in there to Firestone and you have 4 new brand new tires put on your car. He said, I'll pay for them. God uses every agency he has. I said, no, I don't want you to use your money. He said, go put them on. I went in there, Firestone put on those tires. I asked the guy, I said, can I talk to the guy, the technician who did my tires? And I said, oh, sure. And he come out and I said, how many miles would you guess I had on those tires? He said, well, let me go check and I'll be right back. And he come back and he said, you got a little over 30,000 miles left on those tires. Do we serve an awesome God? Amen. He takes care of us. And he's taken care of me. Just like when I prayed and I asked the Lord to put a husband in my life who loved him so much that he would treat me the way God wanted me to be treated, not the way I wanted to. And the pasta is gluten-free and it's going to stick together a little bit. And 2 weeks later from my prayer, that man back there contacted me. And I fought it because he had a beard. No offense, guys, but I just didn't care for a beard. And I was finding every excuse in the world to run because I was afraid. And the Lord kept saying no. My husband and I say this, not out of disrespect for each other, but 2 months to the date, my husband and I married. And thank you, Lord, and thank you, honey, for being the man you are.
Thank you.
God is awesome. And he's never complained about his food. Never. He's really happy when he gets pizza.
Only when we run out.
Huh?
Only when we run out.
Yeah. Have we ever run out of food? No. Yeah, I told him last year, I said, honey, with this COVID and things were really bad, I said, we might want to buy extra food. So I'm not telling you my address, but I have enough food to last a year. Huh? I do. Beans, rice, everything, I have it. I said, well, even if it goes up and it's there, at least we have it. Okay, I'm going to need honey again to come and help me serve this. And I'm trying really hard to keep these flies away from your food. And sweetheart of mine, would you like to have a quick blessing? And then we'll make you a plate.
Father in heaven, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for a time to come and worship, a week of prayer and worshiping. We thank you for this food. We ask that there will be blessing to us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.